Hello and welcome back to New Wave Global. I'm here with a new video, and they are about the racist, Islamophobic attacks on the New York mayoral candidate Zohran Mamdani, the Democratic candidate. So we shall look into this unprecedented wave of racist and Islamophobic attacks targeting Zohran Mamdani, who is, as you know, and I said already, the Democratic nominee for New York City mayorship. Right as he seems poised to win big this November. We look at who is attacking him, why now, and how the New York Times has played into it, and most importantly, whether these attacks will derail him or fuel his campaign. Now, let me add one more thing. It's not unprecedented. Islamophobia has a long history, particularly after 9/11. But in recent years, we've seen a resurgence of it, and the target is Zohran. Since the primary, voices across the spectrum have unleashed Islamophobic rhetoric at Mamdani. Former Texas GOP representative Marjorie Taylor Greene implied he's connected to 9/11 threats. He was a kid. He was in school when 9/11 happened. Laura Loomer joked Mamdani also likes hijabs, referencing burqas stoking extremist fears. He's been also called Little Muhammad. Randy Fine, a Republican from Florida, accused him of wanting a caliphate. He's never said that. It's not even in the campaign. And Representative Andy Ogles demanded Mamdani be deported, claiming he hid terrorism ties when applying for citizenship. Wow, he was almost 7 or 8 years when he moved to the US. But attacks have also come from surprising places. Biden-aligned Senate Democrats like Kirsten Gillibrand, who initially implied past global jihad references only to apologize later after public backlash. Unbelievable. The most ridiculous story came with his college application when he applied to Columbia University. And this was the most damaging media moment of our times by the New York Times, which revealed, quote unquote, that Mamdani identified as both Asian and Black or African American on his 2009 Columbia application, even noting his Ugandan heritage. So the critics have really bashed the Times. They said they rushed the story after fear of being scooped by a conservative activist, Christopher Rufo. They relied on a hack leak from a pro-eugenicist source, raising serious ethical concerns. And in doing so, the paper played into the racialized and Islamophobic tropes under the guise of neutrality. Mamdani responded that the application didn't even have option for Indian Ugandans, so he chose the closest categories and wrote Ugandan in the essay. That nuance, he said, was lost because the reporting did not explore the deeper context. And is it a big deal? Not at all. It's ridiculous, in fact. It's like desperately trying to find something wrong with him. Many media critics, such as in The Verge, called it gaming neutrality to appease the right. The Guardian called it a potential New York Times hit piece, saying the story isn't just lazy, it's dangerous. Now let's look at where Mamdani stands despite these attacks and what do the polls tell us. Ironically, or thankfully, polls show Mamdani surging despite the flack. A brand new Slingshot Strategies poll shows him leading the general election with 35%, 10 points ahead of Cuomo, with incumbents trailing. Pre-primary Emerson polling also showed him overtaking Cuomo in later ranked choice rounds. So, the question is, what are the pundits saying? You know, the famous pundits whom the US is really used to. Political notes that the backlash didn't derail him. Young and progressive voters doubled down. The Newsweek, another mainstream magazine, suggests his momentum is nationally significant. But there's at least one warning. Half of New York City voters say his BDS support is a problem, but 1 in 3 see it as a positive, unquote. Will these attacks hurt or help him actually? That's the other question we should be looking at, so that we could make an assessment of what's the likely outcome in November. Well, first is the boost effect. Backlash has galvanized his base. Immigrant communities, the diverse communities within the New York area, including the Muslims, who have been feeling targeted and are feeling targeted, and the fellow progressives in all races are solidifying their support. Polls show no decline, even with nationalized media criticism, or may I call it hysteria. Pundits argue these attacks are awakening defensive solidarity, not fear. And I'm quoting what is being reported in the media and what is being said on social media. I mean, legacy media and social media. And the corporate media and Wall Street narratives may position him as a radical or un-American, potentially reaching moderate voters. Republicans, of course, will intensify their accusations, tying him to terror, jihad, and other coded language to scare suburban swing voters. Still, modern polling trends show such attacks often backfire, especially when combined with a clear message of misunderstood identity. Identity is a complex issue. It's not black or white as many Americans think black or white. Literally, there are so many other shades. And with Mamdani's very complex Ugandan, Indian, African American identity, it is difficult to have a black or white answer. So Mamdani does face an onslaught of hate, and unfortunately corporate media, especially the New York Times, has fueled it. Let's name names. And he's polling at the top despite that, and proving that public empathy and disgust at biased media can outpace ignorance. That said, the real fight is just beginning as mainstream and Wall Street voices prepare their counterattacks and perhaps millions and millions of dollars in the coming months. Will his numbers hold? Will his current surge in polls continue till November? We'll find out. For sure, all these comments, all these attacks are energizing his campaign. I speak to a lot of young people. I follow social media, and I see nothing declining. In fact, most of the critics who are lambasting him are outside New York City, who have nothing to do with this great metropolis. And thus far, it can be safely concluded that Mamdani is all set to win, unless, of course, some big upset happens. We shall see that. For now, this is the end of my video. I'll be back with another video very soon. Stay tuned, and if you like this video, please leave a comment, share it, like it, and subscribe to our channel. Thanks.